The rain came down in sheets, like the city itself was trying to wash away anyone who didn't belong. Marina stood at the front desk of a crumbling roadside hotel, soaked through, clutching a worn handbag and the last shred of her pride. Her coat, once elegant, now clung to her like a second skin. Rain dripped from her bangs, tracing the sharp curve of her cheekbone. Behind the counter, a woman in a cheap blazer barely looked up. "Ma'am," she said with a sniff, "this is a hotel, not a shelter." "I can pay," Marina said quietly, reaching into her bag. The receptionist's eyes narrowed. "With what?" "Wet coins. No ID, no card, no reservation. You just walk in like it's free real estate." Marina opened her mouth, then closed it. She could have told her about the storm. About her dead phone. About how the driver dropped her at the wrong address and sped off. But none of that would matter to this woman. Not when all she saw was a stranger in soaked sneakers and an old coat that smelled like rain. The receptionist scoffed. "Look, you seem harmless. But we're not running a charity. Maybe try the motel down the block." Shame burned in Marina's throat, but she didn't move. She wouldn't cry, not in front of her. Then the sound hit, deep, smooth, unmistakable. A luxury engine. Heads turned as a black Rolls-Royce pulled up outside the front doors, its lights cutting through the downpour. The kind of car that didn't belong anywhere near a place like this. The kind of car you whispered about. From it stepped a man in a dark overcoat, his presence slicing through the air like a knife through silk. He walked through the lobby doors, calm, composed, lethal in silence. Marina froze. Her heart forgot how to beat. It was him. Her husband. Alexei Voronov. Billionaire. Investor. Cold-eyed king of boardrooms and battlefields alike. And the last person she expected to see tonight. The receptionist's mouth parted slightly. "Yes, sir, can I?" Was she trying to get a room here? Alexei asked without looking at her. His voice was low and smooth, but it had weight, the kind that made people forget how to speak. The woman blinked. I didn't know who she was." "You do now." He turned, his gaze finally meeting Marina's. There was something unreadable in his eyes. Something sharp. He looked back at the woman. "I'm buying this hotel," he said flatly. "Where's your manager?" The room went silent. Marina felt the air leave her lungs. But then Alexei stepped toward her, leaned close, and said something only she could hear. "I know why you came here, Marina, and you shouldn't have come alone." The receptionist had gone pale, standing like a glitching mannequin behind the desk. Somewhere in the back, a nervous bellboy dropped a tray with a metallic crash, but no one moved. Alexei didn't wait for a response. He pulled out his phone with practiced ease and spoke into it, crisp and quiet. "I need acquisition papers for the Mayfair Inn. Now." "Yes, that one. Doesn't matter what the valuation is, buy it." He hung up without another word and turned back to Marina, who was still rooted to the floor like the moment was unreal. "What are you doing?" she finally whispered. "Fixing this," he said. "Or trying to. You can't just buy a hotel because someone was rude to me." Alexei tilted his head. "I can. I just did." Before she could argue, the receptionist rushed forward, stammering. "Ma'am, Mrs. Voronova, if you'd like, we can prepare the premium suite. Fresh towels. Champagne. On the house." Marina looked at her. Really looked. The desperate smile, the sudden fear, the performance. It didn't feel good. It felt hollow. "I didn't ask for champagne," she said softly. "I asked for a place to rest." Alexei stepped between them. "She's my wife," he said clearly, as if naming her to the world again. Then, turning to Marina, "Come on. You shouldn't be here, not tonight. I wasn't expecting you, she murmured. I know. He led her away from the lobby, past the stairs, the silence, the wide eyes. But even as they entered the elevator, Marina couldn't shake the unease bubbling in her chest. When the doors slid shut, he turned to her again. I tracked your phone when you didn't answer. What the hell are you doing in a place like this? She looked up, finally meeting his eyes, that glacier blue that could freeze or burn depending on his mood. I came to find someone, she said. He frowned. Who? Marina hesitated, then pulled something from her bag, a small, weathered photo. In it, two young women, laughing on a sunlit bench. She went missing years ago, Marina said. And the last place she was seen alive, was this hotel. The photo trembled slightly in Marina's hands as she offered it to Alexei. He took it slowly, studying the two young faces frozen in time. The girl on the left was unmistakably Marina, younger, sun-kissed, eyes bright with a kind of hope she hadn't worn in years. But it was the other girl that held his attention. Her name was Lyra, Marina said, voice barely above a whisper. We grew up together. We were inseparable. Then, one day, she just vanished. Alexei handed the photo back, brow furrowed. And this place has something to do with her? Marina nodded. She called me the night before she disappeared. Said she was in trouble. That someone was following her. She begged me to meet her here. I was too late. He paused, eyes narrowing. You never told me any of this. I didn't think it mattered anymore, she said. Until last week. She reached into her bag again and pulled out an envelope. Inside, a torn page from an old guest book, burned around the edges, stained, but legible. A single entry. Lyra M., room 309, no luggage, paid cash. Dated 8 years ago. It came in the mail, Marina explained. No return address. No note. Just this. Alexei looked at her, his voice low. You think someone's trying to draw you here? I don't know, she admitted. But if there's even a chance she was here. I have to find out what happened. They exited the elevator. A bellhop, now overly helpful, scurried ahead to open the door to the suite. Plush, freshly cleaned, untouched by the rot of the lower floors. But Marina didn't sit. She crossed the room and stood at the window, staring out into the night. This place smells like secrets, she said softly. I can feel it. Alexei came up behind her. If someone wanted to hurt you, Marina, they'll know you're here now. She turned to face him. I wasn't going to tell you. I didn't want to drag you into it. He studied her for a moment, unreadable. You think I'd let you do this alone, he said. And then, a knock. 3 quiet taps on the door. Alexei stepped forward instinctively, tense. But when he opened it, no one. Just a single key card, lying on the floor. Room 309. The hallway was silent as they stood outside the door. Room 309 looked like any other, peeling gold numbers, faint smell of bleach and something older beneath it. But Marina felt it before she touched the handle, a strange pulse in her chest, like memory warning her not to enter. Alexei slipped the key card from his coat pocket. I'll go first. No, she said. I have to. The door unlocked with a quiet click and swung open. The room inside was ordinary. A tired bedspread. Faded curtains. A cracked mirror above the desk. And yet, everything about it felt wrong. Like a set waiting for an actor who'd never arrive. Marina stepped in slowly, letting her eyes scan the corners. She was here, she whispered. I can feel it. Alexei moved with trained awareness, checking the bathroom, the closet, behind the curtains. Nothing. No sign of struggle. No sign of her. Just, a silence that felt thick, deliberate. Do you hear that? Marina asked. Hear what? She turned toward the bathroom. Water. Dripping. Alexei followed her gaze, but the tap was dry. No, I swear, she stopped. Her eyes had landed on something behind the door, just barely visible under the edge of the vanity. She crouched, reaching out with trembling fingers, and pulled it free, a locket. Old. Silver. Scratched. She opened it. Inside, 2 tiny photos. One was Lyra. The other was Marina. Alexei exhaled. Someone left that here. But why? She whispered. That's when the lights flickered. And the room phone rang. They both froze. The phone was ancient, beige plastic with a spiral cord and big square buttons. It shouldn't have worked. Alexei picked it up slowly, holding it to his ear. Hello. Silence. Then, a voice. Female. Faint. She shouldn't have come back. Click. The line went dead. Marina stared at him. What did she say? She asked. Alexei looked at her, jaw tight. But before he could answer, the hallway outside erupted with sound, a crash, a shout, a scream. They ran to the door. And saw a body at the end of the hallway. A man in a hotel uniform, lying still. Blood pooling beneath his head. The hallway was chaos. Guests were peeking out of doors, whispering, retreating. Someone had screamed, but no one was helping. Alexei crouched by the man's body, pressing 2 fingers to his neck. Still alive, he muttered. But just barely. The man was young, maybe mid-20s, dressed in a hotel uniform with a name tag reading Mikhail. His eyes fluttered open for a second, and he tried to speak, blood bubbling at the corner of his mouth. Marina knelt beside him. What is it? What were you trying to tell us? He choked, barely audible. One word. 309. His gaze landed on her locket, and widened in panic. Then he went still. Alexei swore under his breath. We need help. Now. But Marina was already dialing, fingers trembling. She gave the front desk the emergency details, her voice sharp and fast. As the sirens began wailing in the distance, Alexei pulled her aside. This isn't just about your friend anymore. You think I don't know that? She snapped. Someone sent me that guestbook page. Left the key. The locket. They wanted me here. And now someone's dying for it. He hesitated, then reached into his coat pocket and pulled out his phone. I didn't tell you everything either, he said. After I tracked your location, I dug into the hotel. It's a shell. What do you mean? I mean, on paper, this place is owned by a holding company registered in Cyprus. No board, no real revenue. It's just, there. Like someone's hiding something in plain sight. He nodded. Exactly. The paramedics arrived and pushed past them. As they worked on Mikhail's body, a tall woman in a pantsuit appeared at the edge of the hallway. Her presence didn't match the hotel, too clean, too calm, too alert. She flashed a badge. Anastasia Chernikova. Private security. Mr. Voronov, you hired me last year in Monaco. Marina blinked. You brought private security? Alexei didn't look at her. I brought her the minute I heard your voice on that phone call. She's here to protect you. Anastasia stepped closer, her gaze cool. If that man survives, we'll need to question him. But you should both know, his record shows no official employment here. No payroll, no ID. Then who was he? Marina asked. Anastasia hesitated, then said. That man is a freelance investigator. And I think he was trying to warn you, before someone silenced him. The hotel's lobby was a different world now, buzzing with police radios, guarded stares, and hushed conversations that died when Marina or Alexei walked by. Marina sat on a velvet chair near the fireplace, her fingers still wrapped around the silver locket. It felt heavier now. Like it was carrying not just a memory, but a message. Across from her, Alexei was scrolling through files on his tablet, face set in stone. "He's stable," he finally said. "Mikhail." "But unconscious." Marina nodded slowly. "He tried to tell me something before he passed out." "What?" She looked up. "It wasn't just the room. It was me." Alexei raised an eyebrow. He looked at the locket. "At me." Like he recognized something. Alexei didn't answer, but his silence was a weight. Then Anastasia appeared again, tablet in hand. "I traced ownership 2 more layers down," she said. "It's worse than we thought." Alexei stood. "Talk." Anastasia's voice dropped low. "The hotel's original owner, the one who disappeared 5 years ago, was Lyra's uncle. A man named Maxim Reznov. Disgraced businessman. Went off the grid right around the time she vanished." Marina's breath caught. "Reznov," she said. She hated him. Said he was dangerous. Anastasia nodded. "After he vanished, his assets were scattered through shell companies. One of them connects to a man you know, Mr. Voronov." Alexei looked at her sharply. "Who?" She turned the tablet around. A name flashed on the screen. "Viktor Demidov." Marina stared. "Your CFO?" Alexei's eyes darkened. "He's more than that. He's been with me since the beginning." "Well," Anastasia said, coldly professional, "he's been using your name to move money through this hotel for at least 3 years. My guess? Laundering. Maybe worse." Marina stood up, voice rising. "So he's the one who sent the guestbook page? Why? Why involve me?" Anastasia didn't flinch. "Because you're the only connection to Lyra still walking around." "My guess? Someone's getting nervous. You came too close." There was a beat of silence. Then Alexei said, "He's in the city. I had dinner with him 3 nights ago." Marina's voice dropped. "You need to talk to him." Alexei's jaw clenched. "I'll do more than that." But before he could move, Anastasia's phone lit up. A message. She frowned, then turned the screen to them. Camera feed, sub-basement. Motion detected. A figure. Walking. Limping. Long coat. Face obscured, ***. Room 309, service corridor entry. Marina's stomach dropped. "That's under our room." Alexei looked at Anastasia. "Gear up. We're going down there. Now." The service corridor behind room 309 smelled like mold, dust, and something metallic, the scent of old pipes and older secrets. Anastasia led the way, flashlight in one hand, the other resting near the holster on her belt. Marina followed closely, heart hammering. Alexei was right behind her, silent, alert, every muscle coiled like a spring. They descended a narrow staircase that didn't appear on any hotel blueprint. It felt carved into the building like an afterthought, or a hiding place. The deeper they went, the colder it became. And then, at the bottom, a door. Rusty. Thick. Padlocked. Anastasia knelt beside it and picked the lock in seconds, her fingers steady. Click. The door creaked open. And behind it, a room. A forgotten cellar, dimly lit by a flickering bulb. Stacks of paper boxes, old filing cabinets, a desk covered in dust and coffee-stained folders. It looked like someone had used it as an office, a long time ago. But it wasn't empty. In the corner, sitting against the wall, was a woman. Thin. Pale. Breathing. Alive. Marina froze. Lyra? The woman lifted her head. And for a moment, time shattered. It was her. Older. Worn. But unmistakable. Marina, she croaked. You shouldn't have come. Marina rushed forward, falling to her knees. What happened? What are you doing here? Lyra tried to speak again, but her eyes darted past Marina's shoulder. To Alexei. No, she whispered. Not him. Don't trust. Before she could finish, a shot rang out. The bulb above shattered. Screams. Gunfire. Anastasia shouted, pulling Marina down, covering her. Alexei dove behind the desk. Footsteps echoed, fast, heavy, and a figure appeared in the shadows, gun raised, face half-lit by muzzle flash. Viktor Demidov. Alive. Armed. And smiling. You never could leave things buried, he said, eyes locked on Marina. She was supposed to disappear. Quietly. You ruined everything. Marina stood, trembling but defiant. Why her? Why Lyra? Viktor tilted his head. Because she found something. Something Reznov left behind. She threatened to expose us all. So we hit her. Alexei stepped forward, slow, controlled rage in every step. You were laundering money under my nose, he said. Using my wife to clean it up. Viktor's grin widened. No. I was using both of you. Then he raised the gun again. A second shot rang out. But it wasn't from Viktor's weapon. He staggered, eyes wide, looked down at the red blooming across his chest. And collapsed. Behind him, Anastasia lowered her smoking pistol. Silence fell. Only the flicker of the broken light remained. By the time the sun cracked the horizon, the hotel was surrounded by police, medics, and quiet men in suits who didn't ask questions, just obeyed Alexei Voronov's orders. But inside room 309, it was silent. Lyra lay in a hospital bed, temporarily moved upstairs under 24/7 protection. She was weak, but alive, and free. For the first time in years. Marina sat beside her, gently brushing strands of hair from her face. I thought you were dead, she whispered. Lyra smiled faintly. I was. In every way that matters. I'm sorry I didn't come sooner. No, Lyra said. You came exactly when you were supposed to. Across the room, Alexei stood by the window, phone pressed to his ear. Yes. I want every asset tied to Demidov frozen, he said, calm but cold. And shut the Cyprus operation down. Burn it clean. He hung up and turned to Marina. You were right about everything, he said. And I was too proud to see it. She looked up at him. You don't always have to fix things with money, Alexei. I didn't fix this with money, he said quietly. I fixed it with you. She didn't answer, not right away. Her eyes drifted to the locket still in her hand. The past was heavy, but it didn't own her anymore. Later that afternoon, the hotel manager was waiting in the lobby, trembling slightly as Alexei approached. I've signed the transfer papers, the man said. The hotel is officially under your ownership. Alexei glanced at Marina, then stepped aside. Not mine, he said. Hers. The manager blinked. I don't understand. Marina took a slow breath and stepped forward. You don't have to, she said. Just hand over the keys. He did. And as Marina walked through the lobby, the same lobby where she had once been turned away like she was nothing, something inside her shifted. The humiliation. The fear. The anger. All of it burned away. Now she walked with purpose. Now, she owned the building. She paused at the front desk, where the same receptionist looked up with a sickly smile. Can I help you, ma'am? Marina placed the keys on the counter. Yes, she said. Start packing. You're fired. Then she turned on her heel, the heels of her boots clicking like a closing chapter. Epilogue. Months later, the hotel had a new name. The Lyra Inn. A boutique retreat, built on second chances and stories no one else wanted to believe. And in the top suite, framed behind glass, sat a silver locket. 2 girls. 1 bond. Unbroken. Because Marina wasn't just the woman with the billionaire husband anymore. She was the woman who faced ghosts, found the truth. And took the keys to her own damn kingdom.